Hi, it's Cheryl from Caribou Country Lifestyle. Today is Sunday, June the 27th. It's actually my birthday today. And it is hot. Right now it's 29 degrees and it's 10:30 in the morning and it's supposed to get to 39 degrees today. Tomorrow they're counting for 41 and on Tuesday it's going to be 42. That is crazy hot. We don't have air conditioning in our house and we're trying to get all of our work done in the morning. Jamie was outside weed whacking already this morning. He was having a hard time getting his weed whacker even going. He has two and he was having problems with both of them. So he wasn't able to get as much done as he had planned. And that's okay. To see what's happening in the garden. We're trying to get as much done before noon when it's going to be smoking hot out. I wanted to start by showing you this. My son got me this for my birthday. It has these petunias that I'll have to see if I can get on a side. But the petunias are purple in the center, white on the outside of the flower, and then they have white splotches painted on the purple inside of it. It's absolutely beautiful. And there is bacopa and calabricoa, mostly the purple and white petunias. I've got some yellow calabricoa as well, but it is huge and it is heavy. Oh yeah, you can really see the purple flowers there on that side. Okay, so today I'm going to start on this side first. I like to change it up. So these, I just want to show you, my nasturtiums are getting quite big. I still have a little one right there just poking through. So these tomatoes here are my Amish paste and my ox heart tomatoes. Last week I could not remember what the names of them were at all, so I kind of skipped them because I just drew a blank. And there we have my sunflowers in behind. I'm almost getting ready to take the cozy coats off of my peppers, and then I'm going to put tomato cages around the peppers, because I mean those tomato cages are kind of useless when it comes for regular tomatoes. The tomatoes just are too big for those small tomato cages. So, and I just want to show you what we have right there. That is my asparagus starting to come up. It's coming up in behind my beans. There's another little shoot right there. So these are the strike bush beans that I planted. They could be doing a lot better. But my dragon tongue bush beans are definitely doing really good. I'm getting ready to thin these out. These crowns that I have, asparagus crowns that I planted, they're 1-year-old crowns. So the first year that you plant these, anything that grows up, you don't pick any of it. You just let the asparagus grow up. It's going to fern out. And then in the fall, when it dies back, when it dies back, goes yellow, then you'll clip those plants. The next year, when the asparagus grows, I will pick asparagus for the first 2 weeks and then I won't pick any more after that. Then in the third year of the asparagus, then I'll be able to pick a lot more, and it'll definitely be worthwhile picking it then. So that's why I planted the bush beans in with the asparagus, because I knew I wasn't going to be picking anything. And the bush beans, with the bush beans, when you plant those, when your beans are actually ready to pick, they all pretty much are ready at the same time. So you have quite a high yield when they do produce the beans, and then their time is usually over after that. They don't last all summer long. You have probably 3 week to maybe a month time frame for picking those beans. Okay, so that's my beans. I ended up finally planting my sage. I planted it in the front, in behind my sage. Those are the Peter Pan squash. It's like a zucchini, but they're kind of remind me of little flying spaceship saucer kind of shaped vegetable. But you can cook them up like you would a zucchini. You can saute them in stir fries. I've even just cooked them with zucchini, like have zucchini and onions and garlic fried up in a pan with some salt and pepper. That's really good too. I did take out a couple of these are the Black Beauty zucchini, and I did take out a couple of plants, so I've left it with 3 plants there. My Gold Rush zucchini, I've taken out a couple of plants out of there and left myself with 3. In behind I have my pickling cucumbers. I've taken off the plastic clutches that I had on there protecting them from the cats. In the back there I have a Morning Glory, and I also have another sunflower. These papaya nasturtiums since last week have already grown so much. I've tried slowing down when I'm doing these videos, because when I watch them I find that I'm going quite fast, and it's actually hard to focus to look at them. So here in the front, these are the purple haze carrots. They're probably about 2 to 3 inches high now. And then we go into the solar yellow carrots. I actually picked my spinach this morning, and for breakfast we had sauteed spinach with scrambled eggs, some garlic, a little bit of salt and pepper. I sliced up some cherry tomatoes with it, with some bacon on the side. It was very yummy. This is the Avon hybrid spinach, so I picked quite a bit from it this morning. I had filled up a basket, and then that's the Bloomsdale spinach beside it. Last week my peas didn't touch the supports, and now I have them on the supports, and now they will be able to grow up these supports and have the peas on them. And those are my sugar snap peas. Here we have some more sunflowers. Last week I was calling this my snowflake cauliflower. It is actually early snowball cauliflower, not snowflake. I had a cat that was named Snowflake, so I don't know if I was just getting mixed up on that. And then this is the cheddar cauliflower. The strawberries, I've actually picked a couple of ripe ones so far. I have a couple more. I don't know if you can, I'm gonna try and get on this side. So yeah, here they are. They're in underneath there. Here I have the Chinese Toy Choy, and it's actually getting to the point where I'm going to start picking it kind of like a baby bok choy. And you can do that up into a stir fry as well, or I'll saute it with some garlic and a little bit of soy sauce and maybe some sesame oil. And that's quite nice. And I actually have flowers on my cucumber, and I see a couple of little cucumbers in behind those flowers, and that's on the burpless cucumbers. And the little trendles are just starting to climb over here. Get this other one, and it'll loop its way around there as well. The patio one hasn't been doing too much, and my little fanfare one, you can just barely see it in there behind the onions now. It needs to catch up. And in the front here I have my okra, and I planted some marigolds. This is my Bright Lights Swiss chard. I can't wait to start picking that. Oh, there's my better view of the cucumber flower on this side. And in behind here I have, on the left is the summer crisp head lettuce, and then on the right is my butter crunch lettuce. And for some reason I had a couple of butter crunch lettuce in here, and I don't know what happened. All of a sudden they just wilted off and they weren't doing very good. And then this is the rutabagas. And in the front, that poor alyssum, I don't know. I might have to cut some of that back. This part's still growing, but I'm going to have to cut some of that back. And then I have some white alyssum in the back. And this is where I planted the dill. That alyssum's still doing good. And then here in the back, now these little plants here that I planted, these were from seed, and it's called cobaya, and it's a flowering vine that vines about 10 feet high, and it has these beautiful purple bell-shaped flowers on them. So I'm excited to see what that's going to look like once they get growing. And then next to that is my early dew honeydew melons. And this last one is my watermelon. Hopefully it makes it. And then some more of the cobaya. I put 2 on each side of the each end of the panels, so it could climb up the ends. And in the front I have my scarlet Nantes carrots and some more solar yellow carrots as well. These are the leeks. Some are the ones that I had bought, and here, this little one here, that's one that I had started from seed. So I have 4 that I started from seed, and then these 6 plants were the ones that I bought. In behind here, that is calendula, my marigold, and then I have my, in behind is the Brandywine tomatoes, and these are the Carnival blend tomatoes, which is another type of a Brandywine in different colors. And then here are where I had planted my annual bunching onions, which is just a great green onion. And then I put in some onion sets And I see one of my onion sets. Oh, there's a couple more over here. Those are poking through and doing quite nice. I have another calendula here, along with some alyssum, zinnias, and a marigold, and another green onion. Oh, that's the onion set. These peppers were my hot peppers. So the first one is the cayenne pepper. This one is the primero habanero pepper. And then here is the jalapeno pepper and the Tabasco pepper. There's my muslin mix lettuce. I'm going to start picking that. I want to make a salad out of that. And then I purchased some new butternut squash plants because I only had this one little one. My other ones didn't make it, so I picked up two established ones. And these are my broccoli in front. And these are the Munchkin broccoli that I planted here. And there I have a sunflower, some more alyssum, and I'm hoping that this is my Aunt Molly's ground cherry, because I had put two little tiny plants in there. Another calendula, and then I have the curly kale, and this is the Toscano dinosaur kale. And this mass is my radishes. I've picked quite a few radishes so far. My French breakfast, they're getting quite large and almost ready to start to be picking. There I have some more sunflowers on the end here. Kind of hard to see. I'm trying not to make a shadow. My eggplants, they're the Santana eggplant, and the eggplants get about 4 to 5 inches long. I also picked up some bigger spaghetti squash plants because my little ones, I lost a couple, but I have two little ones, and then I picked up two larger of the spaghetti squash, and I'm hoping this is going to be my holy basil, the Tulsi basil. We'll have to just wait and see what comes of that. Okay, these are my golden Detroit beets, and they're getting big. I've thinned the beets out a bit to give them some more room. These are my cylinder beets, and then in behind I have red ace beets. They're coming along quite nice. My little hyacinth bean, just waiting for it to get itself attached to the support and then grow up the support. And that is a flowering bean, but the flowers and the beans that produce on that are not edible. They actually are poisonous. I just am growing that for show. This is the pole beans, and they're coming along really good. They are the Blue Lake pole beans, and then in front of them I have my celery. And I came out and watered everything first thing this morning. And here are my Scorpio cabbage. Still not ready to take the collars off of them. They're quite young plants. And in behind Actually, I'll wait and go around to the other side. And then these are the cheddar cauliflower. And again, the early snowball cauliflower. We have some sunflowers on the end here. So I ended up staking up some of these tomatoes because they were laying on the ground. I'm just waiting until they get high enough to tie them to the supports. So this is my early girl, or not early girl, sorry, new girl tomatoes. And then these are my natural black cherry tomatoes over here, and I tied that one up a little bit because it was getting quite a curve on it. In the front are the poblano peppers, and again poblano peppers. These are the sweet heat peppers, and a sweet heat and a sweet sunset pepper in there. So majority of my day today is basically I've done all the watering that I needed to do, and yesterday morning I was mowing the lawn at 7:30 in the morning just to get that done before it got extremely hot yesterday. Same thing, it was quite warm yesterday. And then after I was done mowing the lawn, then I had to come and water everything. And then I went down and got some water for the pigs as well, the little pigs. Oh my gosh, they are so cute. Yesterday we had gave the sisters, the two bigger pigs, Dumpling and Sumai, we were giving them some vegetables. I had some apples and some old lettuce, and I also cut up some cauliflower for them. So they were pretty happy about that. And then we sliced up some little bits of apple, and I was hand feeding that to the little piglets. So here we have moved the chicks. And look at, they're getting quite large. We shouldn't have any more casualties. I'm going to open this door up. Look at that. Look at how big they're getting. It was 32 degrees here in their coop yesterday, so Jamie ended up opening up that door and putting a screen on there so they could get a cross breeze in their coop because it is just so warm for them. Oh, and they have no water. Uh-oh. Well, let's grab that. Can't have them not having water. That would be horrendous. Okay. I guess we'll be getting them some water. There. That's better. Now they have water. It's going to be a hot one. You're going to need lots of water. Drink plenty of water. It's definitely important to drink lots of water when you're out in this heat and you're trying to work in it. I won't be working very much longer outside. I have to water all my planters on my deck, and I have to water my plants in front of the house. I'm just going to close this so that the deer don't come in here, because last year it was horrible before we got this fence up. the deer just ate everything. And that's so frustrating and disheartening when you have your deer that just come and you go to all this work to plant all these vegetables. And then, like, I understand that's how they survive too, but they can find something else to eat. They don't need to be eating all my work. So we're gonna go in and I'm gonna show you what we've done for renovations. It's a little bit different than it was the last weekend when I showed you. Okay, so what's new since the last time I showed you? Well, we have all the ceilings have been scraped. This is the dining room going into the living room, and that is all been scraped. We had to have that done. That was our homework for this weekend, and we got that done actually yesterday. So it was good to get that done. And we also scraped the ceiling in the kitchen part as well. And those two holes in the ceiling is where we had our fluorescent lighting. We have closed in the window and built up the wall for it. It all has the insulation in it and the plastic. And we had to have the ceilings done because they are going to be putting up the drywall. So they'll be putting up the drywall on this wall. They are putting up drywall on all of the ceiling as well. We're not even going to bother to try and play around and fill in or anything like that. We're just going to drywall it, the whole thing. And they're supposed to be coming to do that tomorrow. So all these boxes that we had with the cabinets in them, we actually ended up having to take those out. And now they're on our deck. We just didn't know what to do with them. We didn't want to keep having to move them back and forth in the house. So Jamie just decided, let's bring them out onto the deck. So yeah, on my deck I have my citronella. And this is my red tumbler tomato. Over here, down on this side, is my yellow pear tomato. My Viva Italia tomato. These are both Viva Italia tomatoes together. This one I messed up. I told you last week that this was a yellow tumbler and a red tumbler. So this is actually the red tumbler. That is a yellow pear. I just seen yellow and I put it in the basket and then found out that it was actually a yellow pear. So this is my chocolate sprinkles cherry tomato and another chocolate sprinkles cherry tomato. And my flowers. Over here, I have to water all these plants on the deck. They're actually looking not too bad. And then this is a tumbler tomato. And that is a tumbler tomato as well. And then I have my lime. My key lime. Or no, this is the lemon. The lime didn't make it. That's right. This is my Meyer lemon plant. So hopefully it does better. I had a sucker growing on that's at the base of my sour cherry tree. And so I cut that off because I want the focus to go into the top of my tree. I want it to go into my sour cherries that are on there. I probably have about a dozen sour cherries on that tree, and I just planted that tree last summer and I got no sour, well, I think I had 3 and the deer ate them. So again, not happy with the deer. about doing that. So this year we have it all fenced in and the deer cannot get to that tree, so that's good. And I was out watering my raspberries and I noticed that there was quite a few weeds poking up around through the straw. So I'm gonna have to go out there and clean that up. And I'm just gonna add another layer of straw around those raspberries. I mean, you can't have too much straw, and it's just a good mulch to try and keep the weeds down. And then I'm hoping, it's just so hot, I'm hoping I can get my haskaps planted, my elderberries planted, and my blueberries planted over there. My brother-in-law actually gave me an apple tree that he started from seed. It's an ambrosia apple, so I'm pretty excited about that. It's probably about around 2 feet or close to 3 feet tall. So we just got that from them. We're actually going over there tonight for my birthday. We're getting takeout because nobody wants to cook in this heat, and I don't blame them. So we're getting takeout from one of the local restaurants and we'll pick that up. And so we have my kids and my brother and in-law and my both my two sister-in-laws, my mother-in-law, my husband, and my two sons, my two older sons. My youngest son lives in Vancouver and he's actually coming to visit us this week. He's coming home for a week and we haven't seen him since Christmas. And he's my baby, so I'm pretty happy about and excited to see him too. And so it's going to be great. We are actually, tomorrow, we get Cole for, we get him for about 12 days. My oldest son is going to his dad's, and they have rented a boat to do some fishing out northern BC in Terrace, and so that'll be fun for him. He really enjoys fishing and it'll be really a lot of fun for him. And when he gets back, we have booked to have dumpling butchered, so we will be the ones preparing her before we take her to the butcher's to have him process her. We will get her ready and prepare her ourselves. So my oldest son and my husband will be doing that. And my oldest son has been hunting all of his life, so he's quite well knows how to process. He's done moose, he's done deer, he's I'm not sure if he's had an elk or not, but he's definitely hunted for quite a few years, and so he's pretty experienced. He's actually going to be 32 next month. So it's funny, I have a 32-year-old, a 29-year-old, and my youngest son just turned 23. So it's a lot of fun having them as adults around us and still wanting to hang out with us, so that's good. It makes me happy, makes me proud. Hi, so it's later in the evening and we've come back after we've just had dinner with family for my birthday, and I just want to kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's just been a great day for my birthday, and I have a lot to be thankful for. Like, as far as all my gardens go, I wouldn't have all of this if it wasn't for my husband. Sure, maybe I looked into it and I seen how vertical planting was the way to go because I wanted to maximize my space, because I knew I was limited as far as what I was going to be able to plant. And when I checked out vertical gardening, I knew that this was definitely something that was going to work really well for me. So when you see how I've planted all my gardens and I have everything so tightly planted together, it's because that I knew that the vertical gardens would suit me in the best way to be able to have my tomatoes staked to supports and still be able to plant something in front of it, to have cucumbers staked to supports and be able to have something planted underneath it, even with my Swiss chard and with my rutabagas, to be able to have the cucumbers going along, to be able to have melons. Like, don't even know how the melons are even going to do, but I mean, you don't stop trying. You definitely want to experiment and try, and if they don't work, it doesn't mean that you don't do it again. It means that, okay, well, how can I do this differently? How can I set this up better? And that's why we have, when the cucamelons didn't work out, that was more of my cats. That wasn't even, it had anything to do with the way that I had planted it, or, it had nothing to do with the seed. It had nothing to do with how it was grown. That was just my cats digging it up, which, I mean, you can't not do. You can't not try. You definitely want to try. And now that things are more established, like with my snap peas, now that they're actually starting to climb on to the supports, it's going to look great. That the vertical gardens is what I need to be able to plant everything I want. And I want to try new things, and I want to see how things go. So I'm just so thankful that, I checked out the vision, and we seen the vision, and we made it happen, and it's worked out really well. And another thing that has worked out really well, and I just want to show you, is look at this fence. And look at that. My pig has just chased the deer away. Like, it's so funny because the deer came up to the fence and the pigs seen the deer and they came right out, and it was like, nuh-uh, that ain't happening. Atta girl, Dumpling. Yeah, atta girl, Dumpling. You patrol the property. It's like a guard pig, like a watchdog. That was awesome. The piglets are doing so good. It's so much fun to watch them. They just have so much fun. They race around like it's a racetrack, and they just love to play, and it's fun to be able to feed them from my hand. Like, that's pretty exciting. At first, we were pretty overwhelmed by the whole thing, and now it just seems like it was meant to be. It feels like we were supposed to have these little piglets. It was supposed to happen this way. And so, yeah, you kind of have a better feeling about the whole thing. So it's pretty good.